So welcome everybody. So today we're going to do another yin class, going inwards, a deep release of the fascia. So remember with yin, the key is to see the asanas or the postures as a shape and allow the shape to unravel in a way that suits your body, because everybody's body is completely different. We've all got different tensions, structures, so you need plenty of equipment. Whatever you've got at home is fine. So some of you might have bolsters, bricks, blocks, blankets, pillows. And the idea is to get yourself into the shape. And then how I teach it is that you imagine that at the top of your head you've got a searchlight, and you're going to scan through the whole body as you change into different shapes and find out where you feel the tension, and then try and really focus on it and try and let it go. So the idea is to switch off as many muscles as possible, as opposed to when you're doing the flowing is to use the muscles in a different way. What we're doing with yin is to switch everything off so that it gets rid of the patterns of behavior within the structure. So we're going to start with alternate nostril. I'm going to start with it at the beginning of a class rather than at the end of the class. So have a couple of bricks ready, blankets, whatever you've got at home is fine. And just sit nice and tall. Let the eyes close. And just connect to the breathing. Just be aware of how the body feels today. Sort of scanning, imagine this light that starts at the top of the head. It's like a big searchlight. And you're just scanning down. Notice what's going on at the forehead, the jaw, neck, shoulders, through the arms. Just really noticing what's present first. And then we're going to work with alternate nostril. So bringing the left hand into chin mudra, thumb and index finger together, just place it in the lap. Bring the right hand up, breathe into both nostrils. Block the right nostril and breathe down the left side. Lovely, you can rest the first two fingers at the third eye if you wish to, or just tuck them in. Breathe into the left nostril. Block the nostril, breathe out of the right. Into the right. And down the left. And just keep going. complete the breath you're on. Make sure the final exhale is left nostril. And then going to roll down. So, like we did before when we were working with yin, I want you to use a mental focus. So let's start with the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. If you struggle in this position and you've got enough things to block up, you can put blocks under the thighs and a blanket so it allows the body to slowly release, or just work with the legs out and either have the hands on the heart space or bring them above the head. And then take a moment to scan through the body. So notice how you may be holding in the hands, the wrists, the forearms, trying to switch off the muscles. Be aware of the upper arms, the shoulders, the neck, the jawline. So really go through the whole body. Noticing where you find areas of tension, and then maybe even just asking the body to switch off the tension, bringing awareness to it. And then really working with the breath. So as you breathe in, say mentally to yourself, breathing in. And as you exhale, breathing out, and send that exhalation into the areas that are still holding. See if you can switch off the muscles. So remember, we hold for longer in yin. If at any point it just feels unbearable, then you come out of it, rest in a position that suits you. Pay particular attention to the jawline and the groin. Keep scanning, keep observing where the body holds and try to release the pattern. Visualize, if it helps, the muscles softening. Keep bringing the mind back to the breath and to the simple mantra. I'm breathing in and breathing out. And remember, each position, each posture is held between 1 and 3 minutes, sometimes longer. Lovely. 3 more breaths. As you hold this position with the last 3 breaths, notice the position of the knees. in relation to the floor. Lovely. Now very carefully just lift the left knee, and you'll feel how just that slight change of position allows the right knee to drop a bit further. We're going to push the left leg away so it straightens, and if it feels comfortable for you, we're going to lift the right foot, rest the ankle on the left thigh, and just let the knee relax out. So we're not putting the ankle on the left knee, it's just slightly above. You can also block up the knee if you need to, just pop a brick underneath if it helps to support the shape. See if you can let go a little bit further, really scan into the outer right hip here. See if you can really let go of the holding pattern there. Remember to focus, breathing in, breathing out. Really allow that exhaled breath to flow down with your awareness into the areas of the body that are holding, and consciously let go. Three more breaths. Keep scanning for tension that might build through the mental holding and emotional holding, being aware of the patterns. Lovely. Now keep the right foot on the thigh. We're going to bend the left leg up. Just let the right knee roll out, so slightly different movement. This may be enough for you. If you want to go a little bit deeper, pick the left foot up off the floor, bring the hands through the leg, interlace the fingers behind the left hamstring, and then relax the head back down. You might find that it helps to put a blanket behind the head here, because we're going to hold for a little bit longer. And then notice the whole body. So notice the hands. Can you switch off the muscles in the hands once the fingers are interlaced? Be aware of the ankles, the right hip. Notice the shoulders, the jawline. And then reconnect to the breath. And simply switch off as many of the muscles in the body as you can. Really use the breath as if you're pouring the exhalation through the body, allowing the energy of the exhale breath to soften any of the holding patterns. Remember, these patterns aren't just physical, They are energetic, based in emotions and thoughts. Two more breaths. Lovely, releasing. Let the right leg stretch away. Just take a moment, relax the hands, notice the change in the wrists as the hands release the grip. And then let the left leg roll out to the side, either just having the foot on the floor if the pressure's too much for the right thigh, or having the ankle on the thigh, so your choice. Stretching the hands overhead, maybe supporting the head, or hands on the chest, wherever feels best. Notice the tension that you feel at the top of the left thigh on the inner groin area, where there's that almost like a need to hold the leg there rather than let it release. And if you're feeling a bit of tension around the left thigh, take a brick, pop it underneath the thigh to actually help it switch off more. Consciously letting go. Two more breaths. Notice if the mind becomes a little bit irritated by the lack of movement. Just be aware of it. Bring your attention back to the breath. Good. Now bend the right knee up. Either just let the knee roll away. You can also pop the left hand on the thigh and just use the location of the hand to help the knee push away if you don't want to lift the foot. Otherwise, lift the right foot, reach through, interlace the fingers, let the head switch off, arms just go through the whole body again. Check the jaws relaxed, connect into the breath, and let the breath soothe the physical, emotional, and mental aspects of yourself. Notice what arises out of the body. Might be sensations, resistance, thoughts, memories, just observing it rather than analyzing it, just letting it go. It's like a stream of changing energy. Notice any tensions, particularly if you've grabbed the hamstring. Notice any changes in tension around the neck and the shoulders. Try to relax that area as the leg counteracts the movement of the shoulders and sort of stretches the hands away. Notice any tensions perhaps in the visceral organs, down near the pubic bone, just noticing everywhere. even the toes, the ankles, they may be holding. Two more breaths. Lovely. Releasing. Release the legs. So we're going to go into a series of twists. And again, you might find, in order to hold the shape, I like to call it a shape rather than an asana when it's yin, that you might need the bricks to help you do that, and you might need the blanket as the knees come over. So we're going to start with quite a deep twist. Have your bricks, blankets, whatever you've got, bolsters handy. Arms out to the side. Let the knees come up, and I want you to drop them over to the right and bring them as far up towards your underarm as you can, and then bring the right hand over the top so the fingers just loop behind the left knee, and then take the left arm out. So you might notice there's restriction in the shoulder, so you may need to have the elbow bent. Maybe it works with the arm a little straighter. And then notice there may be some resistance because of where the right shoulder blade is. So slide the right shoulder blade further across to the right. So it allows the thoracic spine to rotate and that deep layer of fascia. You might even find that you want to put a blanket under the knees or a brick, or maybe you want to put the blanket over the arm, under the arm. Just work out what feels right for your body to give it the best chance to let go. Head turns to the left, relax the jaw, and then reconnect into the breath. Notice any tension on the right arm where you're holding the leg, switch it off. Really spend some effort, some mental effort scanning the body all the way through. So not just the muscular system, but also the ligaments, the tendons, the visceral organs. So just going to experiment with the left leg. So I'm going to maybe go a little bit deeper and extend the left leg. You might find you want to pop it on a brick and just maybe bring the hand to the foot if that's available, or behind the knee. So we're just starting to include the fascia of the leg on the side. Notice the change, notice the holding pattern around the lower edge of the hamstring. Switch off the right arm, particularly around the bicep. So remember, if at any point the next movements feel too much, then don't do them. Hold the previous movement for longer. Just experiment. Okay, now what happens if you straighten the lower leg? Can you bring the right hand to both big toes and hold? Releasing the tension through the visceral organs, the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, the adrenal glands, the pancreas, the colon. Just being aware of the whole of the body as you just slightly change the shape. Just remember, everything is connected through the fascia. Two more breaths. Lovely. Releasing, come back to center. Just hold for a moment with the knees where they are. So we're not going to touch the legs, but just keep the knees bent. Notice the body as it changes the shape. And then if you need to shift your blanket and your bricks, do so. Go to the other side. Knees come over as high as you can to the left. Use the left hand to just gently support the knee. So we're not gripping it, because then we're bringing in tension into the arm. Just bring the fingers and then just lightly touch the side of the knee. Adjust the left shoulder blade to slide it over to the left a bit more. Maybe support the right shoulder with a bit of blanket, or the knees with a brick, whatever you need, or a bolster, pillow. Turn the gaze. Feel the movement into the visceral organs. Be aware of breathing in and breathing out, using the exhale to release the patterns of holding in the body and the patterns of emotional and mental holding that create the physical holding patterns. Be aware of the right arm. Switch off any tension. So maybe bend the elbow more, or stretch the arm up and out more. Maybe even bring the hand behind the head. Whatever allows the body to stop, to switch off. Goodness, staying with this or going a little deeper, straightening that top leg, maybe holding the calf, the ankle, maybe the toe. And once you've connected the hand, switch off the muscles of the hand, the forearm, the shoulder. Notice how when you move the leg into a different shape, it affects other areas of the body as the fascia slowly moves. It's a very slow movement, the fascia. I imagine it's a bit like if you've ever made pastry, the type of pastry that where you make it and then you have to pop it in the fridge for a little bit. And then you take it out of the fridge and it's a little bit harder. And it just takes time for it to start to move when you're rolling it. And then the more you allow that tension into the pastry, it slowly releases. So you can imagine that the breath is a little bit like a rolling pin. And with our mind, we're slowly using the breath as a wave, like a rolling pin wave through the body and the mind and the emotions. If you want to go deeper, extend the lower leg as well. So remember, you don't have to do any of the further movements, just work with what feels right for your body that enables you to switch off. Stay focused on the breath. Four more breaths. Really use that exhale to release. Lovely, now let the knees bend. Come back to center, bring the hands to the shins, separate the knees wide, and just relax into the new shape. Good, now stretch the left leg away. Let the right leg come up to the ceiling, but keep the knee bent. So this is rather like doing a lunge, but it really it's much gentler on the back. Maybe bring the right hand behind the knee, depends on what's happening in the hamstrings. Or bring the hand up to the foot and just gently hold it, and that can be on the outside or the inside, wherever you get the best shape for your body to release. Let the jaw relax. And you might find that your leg naturally wants to sort of move out a bit more, so the lower leg sort of extends out a bit more. Be aware of the right arm. See if you can switch off the muscles in the upper arm. Notice some of the deeper holding patterns in the hip. See if you can send the breath around the hip as you exhale. So technically, we're not actually sending the breath around the hip, but we're sending the energy that's attached to the breath through our thought process, which is the pranic energy. So we know that energy follows thought scientifically. So we send it to wherever it's needed. Three more breaths. Let the leg release, slide it away. Just notice the difference on the sides. Notice the difference in the hand and the arm once it's completely released. And then change sides, let the left leg come up. Either just wrap the hand around the knee or use the hand on the foot, either inside or outside, whatever feels best for you. Maybe support the head with the hand or pop a blanket under the head. So you get that best possible chance to switch off the muscles. Be really aware of the pattern of the left leg, where it's resisting the shape. Take the mental focus to it so the energy follows the thought. Three more breaths. Lovely, and release. Slowly roll over to one side and onto your front. And we'll start with Sphinx pose, so elbows directly under the shoulders. And I want you to really concentrate on this section of the body. So the neck here, where the fascia flows up and over, and also this area that runs through the mid-back of the body. So we're going to let the head release. And what you'll notice is that normally when we hold Sphinx, we're pressing down, pulling the spine forwards. I want you to do the opposite. So let go, almost sagging into the shoulders. So the head is almost on the floor, but not quite. So there's still a curve in the back. And feel how you can feel the very subtle movement of fascia all the way down into the lower back. So follow it with the mind. Use the breath. Three more breaths. Lovely, come up. Bring the hands to the corner of the mat. I'm going to push up, so I'm going to melt the heart space so we get a slightly different movement in the back. So make sure the knees are behind the hips by about an inch. and lower the chest. So again, you might find that you want a little bit of support. You're going to bring the chin to the floor, so you might find that you want to just pop a blanket there. So we're looking forward. So you get a slightly different movement now in the back of the neck. Notice the resistance in the front of the armpit area. Modify the hands so you can move into the shape as best as you can. If it's too much to have the chin forwards, then turn the head to one side. And then when you feel like you've had enough with that side, then turn it the other way. So the bottom is up in this position and the chest is down. Breathe nice and deep. That sense is really melting the heart space toward the earth. Notice the tension in the biceps. See if you can switch them off a bit more. If you've had the head turned one way, turn it the other way. Two more breaths. And then slide yourself further back. So you just change the shape of the back subtly. So you're now in child's pose. Lovely, come up. I want you to bring the right leg forwards. Let the left knee bend. So I think this one's called deer pose in yin yoga. I call it swastika pose, because that's what it's called in hatha yoga. So angle the front foot to suit your hip. So heel closer in, less pressure on the knee and the hip. If you have very tight hips or the knee is tender, maybe try actually bringing it a bit further away and popping a blanket under the knee. And we're going to start with the twist. So I want you to turn. I'll show you from the back. So we're going to work the fascia through the body this way. So we're going to turn to the right as far as we can. So wander around. Have a brick handy maybe. And then we're going to either stay upright or maybe bring the hand down. Maybe go this way. Work out where you want to fit. So if you imagine we're taking our body and we're spiraling it as much as we can. So find what feels nice for you. Relax the head, use a brick if you need to. You might find that you can go all the way down. Be aware of the left thigh and just the very front of the pelvis on the left side as you breathe deep. So we're shifting this cobweb-like fascia that's three-dimensional, and we're letting it slowly release its stories that it holds. So we know that every single cell of our body holds emotion. So give it some chance to release. Let's have 3 more breaths. When you're ready, work yourself back up. And now we're going to come over that front leg. So some of you may be here, especially if you've had a replacement. You don't want to put too much pressure on the scar tissue. And that you're just going to switch off the head and the neck by releasing the head. You might find you can come down and you bring a brick to the head or a bolster or a pillow, maybe stack the hands. And you may find that actually you also want to stretch the back leg out, so you end up more in pigeon, which is a lot of pressure for the hip if you've had a replacement, so don't do that movement if you have. And then just feel the holding pattern. Start with the outer right hip. So you hold lots of very strong emotions in the hip. See if you can shift the left side of the body closer to the floor, so it helps to stretch the fascia on the outer edge. And work out how your body needs to do that. It might be propping up the elbow more, or shifting the elbow over to the left a bit more. Just keep scanning through the body. Using the breath. Three more breaths. Then let's come up. So we're going to go back into melting heart. So just be aware of the shift of fascia. So we've moved around this area on the right side. Bring the hands back out again. I'm just going to shift the back of the body again, lower. Switch off as many muscles as you can. So go right the way to the tips of the toes, the ankles, the back of the legs, into the buttock. Run yourself through the upper back. And breathing in and breathing out. Just letting go. If you've turned your head to one side, turn it the other way. Lovely. Come back up, slide the left leg forwards, use a blanket if you need to. I'll show you from this side. So the left leg is forwards, right leg is back, so you're wrapping to the right, and we're going to go over to the left. Okay, so again, I'll show you from the back so you don't get confused. So legs are going to the right, and you're going to roll to the left as far as you can. So you're squeezing the whole of the body. Feel it, as you turn, feel it affect the top of the right thigh. And it might be that actually you want to hold it high because it feels like you're getting more release. Or maybe you want to go deeper. So whatever's going on in your body is unique to you. Work out where you want to stretch it. So I'm going to I feel like my body wants to reach forwards with my right hand a bit more. Three more breaths. Lovely, carefully come up. And then bring yourself forwards over the leg. Maybe you're here. This is fine. Head relax. Knees stay bent. Maybe you're somewhere in between. Maybe the back leg's stretching out. Maybe you're coming over into a pigeon, stacking the hands, using a pillow, blanket. Roll the right side of the body to the floor a bit more so you pay more attention to the outer hip. Nice long breath out. Pay attention to the head and the arms. Three more breaths. Slowly release. Slide the leg back. Once more into melting heart. Hands at the corner of the mat. Walk the feet back. Lower. Stay connected to the breath. Use the exhalation to release the tension, the holding patterns, physically, emotionally, mentally. Lovely. Now walk the hands towards the knees. Tuck the toes. Lift the bottom. Walk the feet and the hands towards each other with the knees bent. So remember, you very rarely get upright in yin. Grab the elbows if you want to, or just let the hands rest on the floor. But if you can't get the hands to the floor, you need to bend the knees more. You can use a brick. If you want to put the hands on a brick to support, let the head relax. So working that back section of the fascia. You're going to take the feet quite wide, not hugely wide, but wider than the hips. And I want you to lower the bottom. Again, you can use a brick to support. You can just pop the sit bones on a brick or not. Your choice. Bring the hands to the back of the head. Just using the weight of the hands to gently release. So just really sort of like ironing out the back of the body. Of course, the forward fold positions are really good for the calming the nervous system, which is what yin's so good at. Nice long exhalation. Good. Now I want you to slowly, as you keep exhaling, work your way down to the floor, however that is for you. Roll down. Start with the knees bent. So we're going to move into relaxation in a yin manner. So I want you to roll the left knee out. So you're just placing it out to the side. And then from there, I want you to push the lower leg out. So you end up with the leg quite wide. And then do the same with the right leg. So the knee rolls out first. So you get that angle out through the hip. And then push the lower leg out. So you're making a triangle really with the legs. And let the hands rest at the side of the body with the palms facing up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh. Good. Now, next time you breathe in, I want you to hold the breath in for as long as you comfortably can. And as you hold, scan through the body. Collecting any tension mentally. And then when you exhale, let it go. As if you're just literally allowing it to release into the earth. And again, deep breath in. Hold. Simply notice the breath. I don't want you to change the breath or control the breath. I want you to just notice the breath. And notice how the breath is very subtle. And actually it affects the entire body because we are fascia and every part of our body is interconnected. When we breathe in, we get this wave-like movement which initiates through the lungs, pushes the diaphragm, increases that wave-like movement down into the visceral organs that move down into the hips and the legs towards the toes. It goes outwards into the ribs, to the arms, the heart space, and up into the head. It moves the fluid in the body that bathes the spinal cord and protects the brain in the skull. So just see if you can really observe that subtle movement that the breath creates. See if you can feel it all the way down to the toes, all the way into the fingertips. Can you experience it in the scalp? And just using each exhaled aspect of the breath to let go even more. Pay particular attention to the shoulder blades, the back of the heart space. And then I let that awareness move down the arms towards the forearms and the palms of the hands. And then bring your attention, the mental focus, to the heart space, the energetic heart space. And be aware of the observing presence there. So there is this presence that is observing the sensation of the physical body and the information that it receives. Also, it's observing the emotional responses of the body and the mental processing. So there's something behind all of those processes that is not the body. It's not the emotions and it's not the mind. And then I want you, if your hands are not doing this, I want you to just bring the thumb and the index finger together and notice the energy current. Notice how you can really feel the pranic energy creating a loop. Lovely. Now rest the hands onto the chest. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh. Next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Good. Next exhale, bring the knees towards you. Roll over to one side. Come back up to sitting. Hands to the heart space. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands down through the midline. And namaste.